The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark. Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What an intro, right?
Wow, dude.
Give a round of applause to Chris Luby, who created that intro for us. And it is so fire. And I'm so glad that he did that for us. So, that's it. That was just a shout out for that intro. Welcome.
It's hot fire.
He does, dude. He does. He does. Anyway, welcome to issue 118 or episode 118 of Two Fat Guys Pull Us Live here on YouTube. We appreciate every single one of y'all who are live here watching with us. And obviously y'all who are watching as a past episode. Welcome and thank you for watching. We've got a I'd say a midweek.
B plus,
I mean, there were some good books this week, but nothing that just blew me away. So it's a little harder to pick a pick of the week for me. I don't know about you,
single
Nate.
book blew him.
Right. But
there were some books that I was happily surprised by. There were books that were as good as I knew they would be. There were books that were disappointments that I knew would be disappointments. So yeah, I think B plus is my solid.
Yeah, I'd go with it. Yeah, I'd probably go with just a B. But yeah, I think that's a perfect grade for this week. But you know, it is what it is. Let's talk about some business. Before we get to the business, just to let y'all know, I'm going to try to talk somewhat lightly, which makes no sense because this is a show where we talk. But I've had a sore throat for the past like 2.5 days, and it's just not fun. So I might throw the ball a couple times to you, Nate, just to I'll sprinkle in my commentary. But we do have to take care of the business, and the business is, let's talk about, happily, because they're amazing, our show sponsor, which is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. They are LCS, and they're freaking amazing. If you're ever here in the DFW area and you're looking to go, hop around on some comic book shops, because the DFW area does have some amazing comic book shops.
True.
But we cannot recommend enough Collected Comics and Games. They have 2 locations, one in West Fort Worth on Altamere, and then they have another one up in Keller where Brent is, and he has a store up there. And also there are other great shops here that can accommodate you and have some really cool stuff. So definitely, if you're ever visiting the DFW area, check out Collected Comics and Games. But you can also check out their website, brainycomics.com. If you type in brainycomics.com, you can see that Ron has an amazing site set up where you can buy exclusive and variant covers, bundles, bad idea books, new comics, mystery bags, back issues, shut up Siri, graphic novels, games, toys and collectibles, and even trading cards. It's an amazing site, and you can see right here on the front page, we've got all of Ron's current new exclusive covers that you can check out and do a little bit of shopping, if you will.
Ooh.
If you'd like. What? Oh, that something's killing children.
Joe.
Or what? No, Joe. Oh, is Joe being mean?
No, I mean he's not saying anything that's not true.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. Anyway, free shipping orders over $100 as well on BrainyComics.com. But before you get done, before you do some shopping, before you get done, type in the search bar Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and this will pop up. That won't pop up. That's our YouTube analytics. Excuse me. This will pop up. The Two Fat Guys Pull List upgrade and premium upgrade. The upgrade is $8, which gets you one mystery exclusive cover that you saw up there in the front, potentially, or the premium for $15, which will get you 2. Now, majority of these covers are around $10 to $15, even $20. So you're getting a really good value for the one, but if you do 2, if you do the premium, you have a really good chance of getting some cool comics for a decent price. So check it out, do some shopping, and then put that upgrade in your cart and see what you get, and then obviously tag us if you do it and let us know what you got in the mail when your Brainy Comics order came in. Also, let's talk about our subscription giveaway. We're trying to get to 850 subs. We've been kind of hovering around 760, kind of up and down. So we're trying to hit 850 subscribers. When we do, we will be giving away this 9.8 CBCS graded Green Lantern #1 retail incentive with John Stewart on the cover. This is an amazing looking book. This is one of the books that I actually picked up from Duncanville bookstore here in the DFW area. Shout out to them. So yeah, if we hit our 850 subscribers, we will be giving this away live on a YouTube stream. So let's get it. Let's get to that 850 sub mark, and then you know the drill. When we hit 1,000, and I'm hoping we do it this year. I think we will. We're gonna give away this original Sin tie-in, Amazing Spider-Man #4, first appearance of Silk, CBCS graded 9.8. This book is only going higher in value as the show continues. So let's give this bad boy away. Let's hit 1,000 subs, and let's hit it soon. All right, is Joe talking smack? What do you say?
No, definitely not.
Cheering for the Packers will do that for you, Jim. What?
Sore throat.
Oh, sore. That's, you know what? That's okay. I didn't cheer though when they lost. I was like,
what's up, Patty? Sebastian.
Hey, Empire.
What's up?
I sent you a message on Twitter. Your Something's Killing the Children book is in the mail and on its way, as well as Neighborhood. If you are here or if you're watching this as a past episode, your Silver Surfer Black slab is in the mail on its way to you. So, congratulations. What were you going to say to Empire? You were about to say something.
I was saying hello, and then I was going to say Joe said Daredevil is his pick of the week, and honorable mention is Flash, which just started its own contained event called the 1 Minute War, a literal war that takes place within 60 seconds.
Interesting. That's cool. Well, I have some words about DC. We'll get there.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Well, let's kick off the show with Amazing Spider-Man issue number 17. I was a bit underwhelmed, unfortunately. And I know that this is a direct montage, tribute, whatever you want to call it, to the original Inferno event. I get that. But I don't know. It just felt, and this is going to sound so stupid because you have mailboxes that are possessed by demons, but it just felt kind of silly. There were moments and flashes of like, oh, that's cool. That's fun. But for me, I just felt like this issue it just didn't hit the mark for me with the beginning of the series. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I would just say that the reasons why you didn't like it are probably the reasons why I did enjoy it.
Okay.
I thought this was a beautiful blend of homaging the original Inferno event and Zeb Wells putting his own style of humor. The demons constantly screwing up people's names and calling J. Jonah Jameson John Jonah Jimothy and like Parker Peter, and I thought that was fucking hilarious. I thought it was really funny. Then one of the demons decides that he wants to be a hero and puts on a spider suit. I thought it was hilarious. So
yeah,
I was not expecting it. I was the first couple of pages actually. We got a little bit of a junior face from Ed McGuinness, which I was strange. It was literally like Peter Parker looked like he had just been Hulkified. Like his head was huge.
Interesting.
His like neck muscles were bursting out, and it was just him walking around in plain clothes. Like, what is happening? But other than that, I really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
I don't know that it fits the theme of Dark Web or really what we're going here. It felt out of left field, but as a singularly contained issue, I had fun with it.
I think I agree with you. I think if it was like, I think for the tone of Dark Web, because even there are bits in this issue where there are tones of dark web with Chasm, right? He's like, just say the word, Peter, and I'll pull you out. We can rectify this really quickly. Like I was like, oh, there's dark web, and then the homage to Inferno, and again, it's just not. I'm not saying I find it not enjoyable. It just felt kind of a little too mixed, where it was like, I'm trying to do this over here, but I want to properly hit the mark for Inferno, and I get that. I totally get that. It just, for me, it just didn't. It's starting off my week, because this was the first book I read. I was just kind of like, whatever. This is cool. I mean,
I get that, and I wouldn't. I was just saying this hit the spot for me, but like I don't know that I could even recommend this book, because I feel like it didn't really do what it should be doing, and I think Joe put a pretty good point to it, and just says it seems like Wells is kind of doing what he wants with Ben and Peter prior, and so I don't know. I thought it was funny, but at the same time, I see how it easily missed its mark.
Yeah, right. Patty, it's like they want to give Peter his own Bizarro something or something. What up, Calvin? And then Joe, Ben Reilly should have the Back in Black attitude for Spider-Man. I would like that. That'd be dope. But overall, again, this is my worry. I don't know. It's just kind of this is an example of where events kind of feel like they always miss the mark, right? Like, hey, we're doing something big here, and that just kind of stinks. But I digress. Let's keep moving on. Oh, I thought I moved this. I think I accidentally deleted Daredevil. Here. Well, if you want to talk about it, you can add.
I tried reading this, and I couldn't find myself really caring. It's Monica is in some type of time loop or alternate dimension or Elseworlds, or something has happened where the current Avengers is the Avengers back when she was the leader, and then not the Beyonder, but a Beyonder shows up and isn't the one manipulating it, but is somehow involved. And I tried my best, and I just couldn't do it. I got halfway through it and was just like, man, this sucks. So I will probably let the series finish, and if it gets good reviews from people I trust, I will pick up the trade and reread it. But I'm dropping this.
Joe definitely says this was the first issue that was turned off, but I'm still gonna digging it overall. I think he's talking about Amazing Spider-Man. Yep. All right, let's get back to what the book that I unfortunately deleted in our pool, and now it's back, and that is Daredevil issue number 7. This is Joe's pick of the week. I did enjoy it. I thought it was really good, and the build up to this war with Punisher, I am actually really looking forward to, and I love reading the internal struggle of Murdock and him like trying to justify this pseudo prison that he has, but he doesn't see it that way. He doesn't see the island that he has as a prison. He sees it more of like a big therapy session, but it, you call a duck what it is. It's a duck, right? Or what's the, I don't know what the phrase is. You call a spade a spade.
Yes, that's the phrase.
That's the phrase. So I'm digging that, and I'm, I don't know. There's definitely a build up in tension, a build up in priorities, and overall, I thought it was a fun issue. But if I want to be, 100 with it, it does feel like just a hair draggy, but then rushed at the same time. It's like we're hitting home, and I understand we're hitting home this idea of Matt trying to reform the prison system, and I get that. But at the end, it feels extremely rushed because they let, what's the name of the villain that walks away?
Like
Wrecking
Bullet
Ball
or something like that.
Yeah, right. And so it's like, hey, go have fun. Yes, but ducks are ducks. Go have fun, but we're gonna track you. We didn't know, and then immediately he gets ambushed. Like, it's not even a second that he gets suckered into the hands manipulation.
I think that makes sense though to me.
Yeah, I get it. But I guess for me, it just felt a little like I was like, "Whoa, we hit that. We went 60 quick," you know. But overall, I'm still enjoying it, and I'm ready. I really hope that this climax between the Punisher and the Daredevil is just like, I want to see some demons, dude. Like, I want to see some demons coming from hell, like fighting.
You already got your demon book.
It's Spider-Man. Right, but I feel like it's gonna happen.
I love this issue, and it was very close to being my pick of the week. Very, very, very close. It ended up being number 3, if that matters. But I think that Chip continues to tell a really good Daredevil story. He continues to put some really intriguing social commentary in there. But I think what it makes me love this Daredevil run, and I actually think I might. I mean, I think this run so far is every bit as good as the other run. Like, I think it is hand in hand exactly just as good. And I think the reason why is because Chip is doing 2 things. He's literally not deconstructing, but you know, obviously Daredevil feels like he is going through some kind of deconstruction where he's sort of like embracing, saying, okay, well, I've always been like the guy that's a conundrum, or that's a oxymoron, because I say that, you know, he's Catholic and he's Christian, and like, oh, I should be following the law, and obviously he doesn't by being a vigilante, and so he's like, he always kind of threads that needle without acknowledging it, and now he's acknowledging it. Well, my righteous violence is good enough. And instead of that being enough, because I think that would be an intriguing story, Chip is going farther and using Bullet, or whatever that guy's name is, and saying, yo, like, no, that's not good enough. Like, you are just like you're doing a lot of the same oppression tactics that we just came from in prison. And I think that's really interesting dissection of Daredevil as a character, because since the character was created, right, that he's always lived with that oxymoron, right? Like that, he's supposed to be all good, yet he's breaking the law, but he wants to capture people breaking the law. I mean, it's what most superheroes don't have the religious hangups that he does. So, I don't know. Right. I loved it. I really love this book. I love how we can do fun fighting and social commentary and character deconstruction all in 20 pages.
No, and it definitely feels fluid. That's for sure. Patty, all tortoises are turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises. I love it. Joe, I'm really loving this run so far. Maybe better than Chip's Batman, but Elektra as a character I never cared about is really growing on me though through this. No, she's amazing in Chip's run, and we know it's coming. One of them are gonna die, and flip a coin. Hopefully, it'd be cool if they didn't, but it's gonna happen. Calvin, how do we feel about Punisher's new logo? I'm personally indifferent about it. I understand why Marvel went in that direction, but in my opinion, when and this may not be where you're wanting the question to go directed by, but when I see that logo being misused, I just see it as someone who doesn't understand what that logo means. And and they're just being complete tools, using it the way they're using it. So if I'm being absolutely honest, I kind of wish he just had his logo. I just wish he had his original Punisher's logo. I think it's a classic. It looks great. And like me being, and I'm not trying to sound snooty, but looking at it as a person that designs vector stuff and logos, it looks like a cheap stock. Like that's, to me, that's what it looks like, I know it probably represents more, there's a meaning to it, but I think you should just have his original logo. Like fuck the misusers. You know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah. That's me.
My thoughts are a lot more plain. I don't care about the Punisher or his stupid logo. If that's the new one, I just don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. Joe, I love that they aren't spoiling Punisher in this book. I can see if you just read Daredevil, you'd be on his side. But Punisher has much motivation to do what he's been doing as well. Punisher versus Daredevil has been done so many times, but this time it feels fresh. Calvin, it definitely looks like a first draft idea. Yeah, I think that's way more of an articulated version of what I was trying to say. It just doesn't feel finished. It just looks like, okay, we have a direction, right? We want to stay in the same vein of his original logo, but we need to do something different. And somebody in the room was like, how about you add horns and make his teeth pointy? You know, like that's and miss the jaw. Like okay, it just looks a little weird. But it's hard. It's really hard to do something like that when you have a logo that is so well established for so many years, right? So that I get, it makes sense that it looks unnatural, right? But there's still just something about it's not right. Joe, his logo is still there. This just fits the hand. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was fun. So is this are you just gonna say this is your pick of the week? Or are you holding off because you okay?
No. I have a clear pick of the week.
Okay, clear and motivated. Got it. We talked about that. All right. Moon Knight issue number 19.
This is my Marvel pick of the week.
This is your Marvel pick of the week?
No, I take that back.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
I enjoyed it, but I also was kind of like, there were parts of the book where I was like, wait, what are we doing? Like, I felt a little lost in parts of it. Maybe I read it too fast, or like there was too much shit going on around me, but I just didn't understand what. Okay, I liked Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight having the discussion about resurrection and how every time they die, they lose a little bit more of themselves. Khonshu is degrading their souls. Loved all of that. I mean, that bulk of it, I really, really enjoyed. I even enjoyed the talk with the Zodiac killer guy and the therapist, and but for me, where I was like, wait, I didn't understand this sailor dude. I didn't, or that whole thing.
That was like literally the smallest part of the book.
For some reason I was just so focused in on that.
He's like a one-time appearance, classic
Moon Knight villain.
Moon Knight villain. Like, it was just a meme. Like, it literally, I think it was just a meme.
Got it.
From Jed McKay.
Because for some reason I was like, why are we fighting this guy? Like, I was, because
it was just to give him and
Hunter's Moon
something to do while they were talking. Literally, I think that's exactly.
Got it. Okay, well then, great. This is a great book. I thought it was good. It's just that part was. I think it's because we did such a badass way of dealing with vampires, and I kind of wanted to still see Moon Knight be like, nah, you ain't shit. Y'all ain't. I'll just throw some holy water on you and you're gone.
Right.
That I liked that, and so when we got here, it just felt like it was like an immediate 180 on who we were focusing on. But you're right. The real big thing was Hunter's Moon telling Moon Knight, like, hey man, you need to slow down. Like,
chill out, bro.
Like, stop using resurrection as as a tool. Like, it's degrading us to the point where we're gonna end up being zombies. Which they're gonna be, no matter what. They're kind of destined to be that whenever time comes where they die.
Yeah.
Joe, his logo is still there. I read that. If Marvel doesn't want that logo, they wouldn't put it in any books. You had Ares wearing. Yeah. I like this book, but it does seem like they pulled a DC when they go from arc to arc. It seems so fast with missing the middle lead into the next arc. Yeah, it did feel like that. I think that's what I was trying to say, is like, it just, like, we were starting a new arc, but it almost felt like we were in the middle of it. Like, but clearly we were at the beginning. I wish there was just a little bit more connectivity to, like, even throw a tagger in there, like, being like, hey, bye. I know, like, we did it, and then moving on. I don't know. So there was something that missed for me. Joe, the true story was the interview with Zodiac. Yep. I wonder who that crew that became, They'll be coming next. Excited to read the next issue. No, this is still a fantastic run. And
I don't know. I think you might be off the book. I think you hate it.
oh, okay.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about Predator issue number 6.
Yes.
This will be quick. Overall, just an overall review of the series. I think it was really fun. I genuinely liked this issue, and it just didn't give the Predators the last laugh, you know. And our character in this story arc did her thing and took care of business and used the tools and people that she had in front of her in order to succeed. And you know, she obviously got a bit of luck. The Predator at the end was the Predator that killed her family, and she was able to take it out quite convincingly and pretty dope. I genuinely liked the run, and that's saying something because I'm not a big Predator fan or Alien fan. So definitely looking forward to the beginning of the new arc and the new number 1 from Ed Brisson. But I will be cautiously optimistic about it. I will say it's gonna be another one of these like issue to issue kind of things, because I'm still not 100% on the idea of having a solid Predator run in my pool, you know. But if you're looking for a different style of Predator story, I can't recommend this one enough. I know some of our viewers weren't into it, and that's okay. We all don't like all the same books. That's fine. But I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yep. I will still be picking up the trade. Just
Yeah.
gotta wait till April.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Damn.
All right, Star Wars: The High Republic issue number 4. Chaos
This is my Marvel pick of the week.
has ensued. All right, cool. She got crazy in this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this book kind of did to me what oh wait, we haven't talked about that book. Never mind. What another book, what Know Your Station did to me. So
okay.
The first like half of this book, I was just like, ooh, I feel like Marvel's sort of doing the Marvel thing, and I mean the Star Wars started doing the Star Wars thing. We're getting too many name dumps and location dumps, and I was just like, I feel like I'm reading when Squirrely Blurg went to the building Squirrely Blurg, he square, and I was just like, no, come on. But then the second half is where it got juicy and really, really again continues to go down the path that I really want this to go down, which is essentially this dude on the cover, the Herald, bouncing into the congregation of all the Force users. Right, we've got the Jedi and the Guardians and all the different names that I'm not going to know of Force users, and he basically walks in and is like, yo, I think you guys touching and using the Force is manipulating it in a way that other people can't gain access to its healing powers, and you guys need to stop using the Force right now, and I want you to totally disband this thing. And they're like, yo, you crazy, we've been doing this for like 1,000 generations, we're not going to stop using the Force. And so he's like, okay, well, I'm going to go cause some shit. And he walks outside the temple and starts talking to the people and is like, they're silent. Like, he literally sounds like a MAGA Karen, like going out there, like, they're lying to you and they're trying to censor me. And even though a lot of what he's saying is true, it was very like dramatic and like, you're being manipulated and everything is doomed. And they try to stop him. And of course, some of the people that are trying to stop him are Force users. And we finally get our tie-in to the first phase of the High Republic, which is one of the Force users who's not a Jedi, but he's another still like active Force user, sees the evil thing that we still don't know the official name of from phase 1 that causes the ultimate terror for that person to be filled with the ultimate terror. And we actually finally see how it manifests for him, and every single person in the crowd turns into these like long teeth nail vampire looking demon creatures, and he freaks the fuck out and starts using the Force on everyone, like attacking them. And what it's probably, and that's how the issue ends. And so what's probably going to end up is, you know, this creature, this thing, this whatever has manipulated his mind to attacking innocent people, and now we officially are in it. We're We have seen the beginning of the Battle of Jeddah, and this is supposed to be our big climactic turn, our big impactful event for High Republic. But I just love the political and religious intrigue of Star Wars. That's always been my favorite thing, and so we got a lot of that here, and a lot of like debate about the Force and what is it really, and is it right to manipulate it? Is it right to use it? Who has the right to use it? And how do we know that using it doesn't affect other people? And it's all very, very, very interesting concepts that are very novel to the Star Wars universe. Like we have not had talks or discussions about this in any content I have ever consumed. So maybe it's happened in the like Legends stories, but certainly not in any post Disney 2015 takeover.
Right.
I had a great time. I loved it.
I would agree with you like wholeheartedly about the entire book. At the beginning, I was like reading words and I was like, is this a person? Is this a place? Or is this an idea? Like I was just way out there. But when shit started going down and this, messenger or whatever you want to call him showed up and started talking shit, I was like, Harold. Yeah, I was like, it's getting a little heavy, and then shit went down. So yeah, definitely digging it. 4 issues in, still heavy into it. All right, X-Men issue number 18, and then Joe will get to your comments about Wolverine. Essentially we're trying to figure out here how we're gonna deal with having 2 X-23s in, coexisting and even being on the island, because there are clearly laws with Krakoa where you're not supposed to, you have to validate the death and you have to, 100% so that we can resurrect. And that was kind of bypassed in this issue. And they kind of just said, no, go ahead and resurrect X-23 because there's a shadow of a doubt if, she's dead in the vault. Right. And that's not the case. The Forge was able to find her. And so now we have 2 X-23s, one who's thousands of years old and then one who's fresh. Right. And so this is both of these X-23s working it out and trying to figure out how to coexist. And the way to coexist is you don't talk to me, I don't talk to you. Good, cool beans. We're not friends? Sweet. I'll let you do your thing, I'll do mine. And, Sync finally gets, the girl, right? He finally gets the life that he wanted with X-23. What I find interesting about this issue has nothing to do with X-23, and that's how the book ends. We've been talking about this brood invasion going on in Captain Marvel, and it has finally showed up in X-Men. And I want to know how you felt about the last little thing at the end there with your favorite Starjammer being impregnated with the brood.
Well, he's not really going to kill himself. He's going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine.
We'll see, dude.
I would be very upset if Corsair was to take himself out and be gone for good. I would be very sad. But my favorite part of this issue was just the segue into the arc. Like, I thought it was fine. I just don't know why I don't care about this Laura Kinney storyline, but I just don't care. I don't like it's just sort of whatever. Okay. I'm so tired of dealing with future versions, past versions, alternate versions of mutants interacting with themselves. I'm over it. I don't care. I did think it was fun that this book semi-crossed over with Exterminators. I thought that was really fun. I love Exterminators, and I like those characters, and I think Jerry did a good job of keeping the tone that Leah Williams has set in her book. Other than that, though, my favorite part was just seeing the Starjammer and Corsair, and that we're going into the Brood story.
Yeah, and I'm really intrigued to see what consequences we're gonna get with this Brood storyline, because it does feel like that's gonna be a pillar of a foundational pillar going into Fall of X. I think it's gonna be a major bullet point to what happens to the island. But I did like the X-23 thing. I thought it was really fun. I really liked that the old X-23 had a psychic version of her helmet. I was like, that's fucking dope. Like, she just looked cool. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. And who said it? Was it Joe said X-Men? The X-Men title is slowly climbing the ladder for one of the best X books in my opinion. I can't agree with you more, Joe. I think, you know, Gary Jerry got it, and he was kind of like, woo woo, we're just going crazy. And he had Pepe Larraz at the helm at the beginning, and it was kind of like these one-shot stories, you know, self-contained little stories. And then he kind of broadened it a little bit, and then he got a little crazy, and then he honed it back in and started, you know, which a lot of these X books are doing, bringing back and rectifying or reopening and hashing out old Hickman X-Men storylines. Yeah. And whether that's because it's about to end, or if we're just saying, you know what, we need to get back to our roots, who knows? I'm sure it's the former. But yeah, I agree. I think the biggest thing for me is I just wish Pepe was back on the book. I mean, that's, if there was one thing I could ask for, not that Villa did a bad job. I thought the artwork in this book was great. I just miss Pepe. I miss Pepe, and I miss RB Silva. Like, I think they are desperately needed. I desperately want them back to be on some of these books.
Yeah.
So,
Rich, Jaden, what's up, guys?
How's it going? Joe, what sucks about buying books in trade is when they do a crossover with a book you're picking up monthly. Captain Marvel is a trade wait, but now I got to do a double dip for the follow X-Men story. Yeah.
Yeah, that I agree. I agree that that's a little silly, but that's just comics sometimes.
Joe, I don't know if the new X-23 book will be following the old X-23. I feel like it's.
I just looked it up. The X-23 Deadly Regenesis, because there's somehow 2 X-23 books coming out. The Deadly Regenesis is specifically taking place when she was on the X-Force team. So that is
like a coming back
10 years ago. 10 our time, like 10 years ago or so. So it is clearly pre-Krakoa. I can't find the other X-23 book, but of course, I don't know why do you have 2 X-23? I don't like it.
I don't know. Why are we having a Lethal Protector Part 2 coming in? You know what I mean? Joe, imagine having an army of Jean Greys. Game over. I think we're going to see a lot of game over instances in Sins of Sinister. I think we're going to see some wild shit in Sins of Sinister, and I'm super pumped for it. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about DC.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get this part out of the way. The main book, the art was amazing.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, now that's the only good thing I can say about this book.
Okay, yeah. The most positive thing that happened in Lazarus Planet Alpha was Asad Ribic's work, 100%.
No, Riccardo Federici.
Oh, Federici. Never mind.
But yes.
They're so similar. Anyway.
They are very similar.
Their artwork is so similar. Federici's artwork, amazing. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. I think I don't want to poo-poo on it. I feel like I should just skip it. Guys, what do you think, chat? Like, it feels inconsequential. It feels like we just finished Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I felt like that was a total letdown. And just like, but it wasn't, right? Because what they established on in that is that the multiverse, the Infinite Earths are infinite, and they're back, and it's gonna be crazy, but it doesn't feel crazy, right? And then we get to this, and like I was reading halfway through it, and I was like, wait, what happened in the last Batman versus Robin? Like, I can't right? And it came back to me as I was reading it, and I was like, but why do I care? Like, it just didn't feel. I don't know. It just did not feel. It didn't have any weight. It didn't feel consequential.
Yeah, and I almost wonder if maybe this book is a really bad book for us in particular, and it's hitting us at a really bad time. I have extreme DC event fatigue right now, and you're also really shoving a lot of characters that I just do not care about.
Right.
I don't care about the magic side of DC at all. And highlighting any of them is going to turn me off right away. And I super don't care about monkeys at all. So showing me that he's the only person getting an actual tie-in to this book or to this series and trying to just force them in, I don't care at all. I don't care. Obviously, this book has a footing for people. I think that I don't want to say that. I don't know. I feel like we're going to shit all over this book, and it's going to get a lot of praise, and we're just going to sit here going like, "What did we miss?" But
that's the thing.
Right now, I'm missing it.
We didn't miss anything though. That's the thing. We read World's Finest, and we loved it. We loved where the demon Nazari, or however you say it, showed up from. I absolutely loved that. We read Batman versus Robin, and that I think is where we were starting to go like, wait a minute, like, what are we doing here? Even though we were tying World's Finest events into main DC lore. Mm-hmm. I think for me personally, because I love World's Finest, I really didn't mind Batman versus Robin until the end, where it just started kind of unraveling into this like, and we're into an event, like we're just immediately into an event. I think my worry is okay, we're doing Lazarus Planet, and this is going to be the next phase until we get in, and this is going to lead us directly into the dawn of DC. And I'm like, why? Like, it just doesn't feel, it just feels so scattershot. It feels like you're just shooting and hoping you hit something. And I think I said this last week, in my opinion, I feel like DC does Elseworld and individual stories really, really well. That's it. I think the events, and I think it all happened after they had solid ground with death metal. Yeah, but I bought into that whole thing, and I really enjoyed it. And it was like, and we have set, they basically were like, we have set the bar of where the DC universe is going to be. And within one issue, because they canceled their 5G or whatever the fuck it was called, it got wiped clean. The future state was gone, and we had all these concept stories. I don't know. To me, it just kind of, I think it's event fatigued, and it's also, why should it matter? You know what I want to know? Who's going to be the new Justice League, right? What's up with Batman? What's going to happen in the new Superman stories? Speaking of Superman, when is Philip Kennedy Johnson going to talk about his future state story, which he keeps on saying is going to happen, where it's like the House of L, and you have multiple super family beings vying for the control. Go for it.
It seems like we started that, right, by having all of the Phosians down on Earth now.
Right. But that's what I'm trying to say is, like, that's where I want to, like, for me personally, that's what I'm interested in. I don't care about this, unfortunately, and I know some people do, and I'm not trying to shit on that, but
we've got a lot of opinions here that I want to make sure that we cover too.
Yeah.
Especially because we've got people that are not agreeing with us that I think is important aspects. Yeah. I feel like we're missing it. Joe says,
yeah, we are. Yeah.
So Rich says this alpha was dope. I give it a 9 out of 10. I have total event fatigue, but this was so much fun. He also points out that how this directly follows the World's Finest story is really interesting, and I do agree. The Devil Mihiza stuff and that sort of tie-in, I do find intriguing. Sebastian says the thing that sucks about this book is that Mark Waid isn't going to be writing each issue with different people. Doesn't feel like it'll be connected as well, and Guardsy says the same thing. I'm buying this one just for the artwork, but it's a bad idea to give us Wade and then take him away from the rest. And I agree. I think that's probably going to have a little bit of, it's going to lose cohesion because we don't have Wade's voice on it the whole time. Patty says he's passing on this one. Joe says, I'm going to read it just because it's still the highway to the new DC lore. See, it feels like we're being manipulated into reading it a little bit, right?
I do like Rich's comment here, though. Nate's complaining about Damien not being being a whiny kid, but now he's like this alpha leader with an amazing strategist. No,
that was my favorite part of the book. That was my favorite part of the book.
But consistently, right? Like in the previous book, and yet he was being manipulated by the demon. We went back to that, right? And it's just like a switch. And I want that consistency for that character. I want that that what you're saying, Rich, about Damien being an amazing strategist and amazing leader, that needs to be consistent. And my worry is Lazarus Planet will happen. We'll get into the dawn, and he'll be back to being like me, and that's if you're gonna stick to a certain flow for a character, stick with it, right? And I don't think that's the writers that are doing that. It's the wishy-washiness of DC. And ever since Death Metal, and then going into what was gonna be 5G, that got completely annihilated and scrapped because of whatever reason, whether it was corporate takeover or just, we don't like that direction. That to me was the point where things just kind of went away, and nothing has been consistent. There have been flashes of ideas. Like World's Finest to me has been a very consistent book that has been super fun and a silly goose time, yet has had consequence. And with when Philip Kennedy Johnson teased his House of L storyline in the Future State Annual, I was like, oh my god, this looks amazing. Like this is Superman meets Game of Thrones, and there's a galactic war amongst Kryptonians. Let's fucking go, right? Like that was awesome. And this to me just seems kind of gimmicky. Now the artwork, amazing. Consistent voice of Wade, please, but we're not going to get that. And my worry is when Lazarus Planet is done and we move into Dawn of DC, all Lazarus Planet is going to be is a footnote. It'll be, remember when that happened? Yeah. Okay, cool. Who cares? Let's move on. That's what it's going to be. And that's that's what I fear it's going to be. I'm not going to say that's what it's going to be, because I would love to be proven
we
wrong.
Don't know for sure.
Right. And I feel like I poo-pooed on this, and I apologize. I really do. I apologize to all of y'all who love this book and are saying you're whack, Jim. And I agree with you. I'm whack.
Can't believe you've done this.
Can't believe you've done this. Joe, what books are y'all apologetic for? Right? Am I reading that right? Mm-hmm. And picking up books y'all not like. Can you read? My brain.
What books are y'all apologetic for, and picking up books that you would not like? Manipulate the direction due to sale.
Sale's still good.
I will always pick up. So like, what books are we picking up that we are like apologists for, even if they're I would say, I've been doing the hammer quite hard recently. I think Undiscovered Country was one I did that for a long time, and I finally did you like 20. I finally was like, I can't do this.
I'm
out. I don't know. What are some books? I really can't think of. Okay, what do you got? Because I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
It's X books. It's just X books.
Oh, it's X books. That's for sure.
Like X-Force, Wolverine. Even though Wolverine now apparently sounds like it's getting amazing. What was Zeb Wells' one that we were?
Hellions?
No. With the Nightcrawler.
That's Cy Spurrier. Second time you've done that. It's Way of X.
Way of X, and I think currently X-Force for me. Like I'm still on it. Oh, and Avengers. I am seeing that through to the bloody end. I was about to say She-Hulk, but no, She-Hulk's a good book, so I can't say like that's an amazing book. I'm not apologizing for it. It's amazing. Y'all suck.
I will not apologize.
I will not apologize. Joe, what are your all thoughts about the negative response for them bringing in more Kryptonians and still making them all white, the kids?
I haven't heard that at all, so I haven't heard what people are saying. but literally from only the context of your comment, I could clearly see why that's a problem. Like, I mean, it is very easy to spread diversity into your books, especially with brand new characters. So why not continue to do that?
Right.
But I haven't heard direct negatives.
Rich, a Mark Waid Robin book would have been. I'd read it. I would read it right away.
I do feel like he has a good understanding of the way I want the character to go. For sure.
99. Whatever happened to
Paquette,
who did the artwork on New 52 Swamp Thing? Loved his work.
No idea.
Don't know.
I'm not even sure who that is, but I'm going to see if I can find out.
Rich, you're probably right about it, and I am afraid DC is going to screw it up. I just think it's starting off the way it should. I'll flip through the next, but I'll have a little hope for Lazarus Planet. No, you know what, Rich? You're our agent. You're our Lazarus agent. You let us know.
We want
because,
you to. We want to have your
opinion. What was I about to say? Oh, like the next Lazarus book is like the attack on Krypton or some shit like that. And Stephanie Phillips is one of the writers, but then there's like 15 other writers in the book, right?
Leah Williams.
Man, I'm sorry. My brain is fog. But I was like, I sent it to you and I was like, what do you think? I was like, I don't know. And to me, that's where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope that I don't have to go back on it. But I don't know. Joe, Lazarus Planet seems to be on the same level as Shadow War. Might be able to skip it and not feel lost. I think you're right, Joe. So most of the Marvel books, or most Marvel books, Jim. Yeah, yeah. Because DC, I mean, it's very obvious, but I'm not apologetic. Like, I'm not unapologetic about these things. I'm the Wolverine agent. Yeah, you are, Joe. And that sounds amazing about that idea. And I hope I'm definitely going to read that on Unlimited and get back into the Wolverine storyline, because it does sound amazing. And, that's what happens when books burn you. Yeah. All right, let's move on to some independence, and we're going to kick it off with Grimm, issue number 7 from Boom Studios and Stephanie Phillips. Yo.
This is what I'm talking about.
This is what I'm talking about.
Now we're back to what we were wanting.
Yeah, dude. Like, multiple oh shit moments in writing and graphically. We got a problem. We got a death problem. Nobody can die. Even the ones that people that have died are coming back to life. And that's including people that have been like, their guts are just hanging out.
Disemboweled.
Like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, like it's pretty intense.
It got intense in this issue, and this felt like we were back, and not that, I mean, issue 6 was fine, but it did feel kind of like, wait, what are we doing?
Issue 6 sort of like stumbled a little bit, but then this one was like fully on pedal to metal, back 100%, exactly where we were wanting it to be.
Shit's getting wild in this book, and so we've got a death problem. It needs to be reestablished, and it appears that our main character can only do that. But we get the consequence of us not having a legit death, taking names. And this was a brutal issue. Very close to being my pick of the week, if it weren't for another book. But this was super fun, and I would highly recommend picking up. If you're not picking up the floppies, just wait until the trade comes out or the hardcover or whatever. This is a really fun story from Stephanie Phillips, and I'll cross my fingers. I hope this gets picked up. I think this would be an awesome story to see visually on Netflix or any other streaming service as a show. But this was great. Like seeing a hospital filled with unfortunately dead people coming back to life and pleading for death, and seeing a priest of all people in the hospital going like, this isn't how it's supposed to be, and literally questioning his faith, and then having it reestablished while talking to our main character, I thought was brilliant.
I think I'll go so far as to say I think this is my favorite issue of this series so far.
Okay.
A lot of fun.
Really good. Back to chat. Rich says, you don't think he understands. He didn't think he may have not understand the question, but for him, it's Black Iron Man. Always buy Black Iron Man. Back Iron Man. We'll always buy
and back
Iron Man. Dude, my brain is, I wonder if I have COVID.
Sludgy brain.
I'm going to be selective on what Lazarus Planet books I pick up. Mark,
Yeah,
I
Mark,
totally get that. I think we're
there
done.
with you.
Joe, Grim trade comes out next week. That's when it comes out, or that's when it. Yeah. So I would pick it up. Rich, I would say issue 6 of Grim was as if they had to slow down to take a corner, but now it's back on full throttle. Good issue. 100%.
Perfect way to put it.
Yep. Y'all do words way better than us. Anyway,
Well, me talk pretty one day.
next boom book, Know Your Station issue number 2. This is my pick of the week.
That's Jim's pick of the week.
It's my pick of the week because
Sweet.
it just it brings forth questions in a good way, well, while reading it and after reading it, right? So we've got our liaison who is in a bit of a pickle. The first issue she was trying to help solve a murder, and then she ends up, her associate or her higher up ends up getting murdered, and they're in her room. I feel like I just sounded like Jeff, the guy that plays Marvel Snapped, like at the end of his sentence, like murdered. That's an inside joke. But yeah, like this issue is keeping me guessing. When you feel like you may have an idea of who the killer might be, it turns itself on its head. And I feel like the actual killer is right in front of us.
Yeah.
I think it's the AI. I think the AI is killing people.
So
and it's fucking with our main character and
it's
making
framing her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's framing her, but it's the AI. I wholeheartedly, or it's actually her, and it's her when she's on blue, when she's on the drugs.
Yeah, I do wonder. Drugs have been a very prominent theme and have been talked about a ton in this book. So I'm wondering if because so far the one thing that this book has not done a very great job about is like letting you know what the fuck is the point. Like, what are we trying to do? Like, we're 7 issues into like Daredevil, and we're probably gonna have another 20 or 30. But like, we know what Chip's doing. He's making a social commentary about like police states and prison and vigilante heroes. Like, we get it. We know what the point is. But like, what's the point of this? I don't know. I don't know what the writer's trying to tell us, or what themes we should be paying attention to that are just pushing the plot, or maybe that are actually the point of it all. So,
but I think as we progress and we probably get to the final issue, we're gonna go, fuck, I need to reread this entire book because that's what was going on, and there were probably subtle hints that, and I may be giving the writer too much credit, but I feel like that's where we're at. To me, like that, and that's why it's my pick of the week, because I'm getting that inkling, and it's not something that I'm hoping is happening. It feels like that's what's happening. It feels like we're just getting to this point where, like, the fact that the writer is making you question, and then I'm already coming up with this idea that it's the AI, and maybe that's what the writer wants, and then when we get to the end, it's something completely different, or maybe it is. But I think it's been being done so masterfully, because you start thinking about it, like, whenever our main character asks, like, who was in the room last, thinking it's character X, and the AI is like, nah, bitch, it was you. It was you, right? But then you got to think, well, wait, there was somebody else in the room, and that's the program. That's the actual AI of the ship. So I think it's the AI, but
it's the AI.
Also brutal. Like, that's the other problem, is our main character can't trust her own mind, and so she's relying on the AI. Where was I? What was I doing? What time did I come into the room? What was I on? And she's like, the AI is like XYZ, right? Yeah. But you don't know, like, you're assuming, right? Let's say laws of robotics, if you will, that it's probably built into the laws of the AI that it can't lie, right? That's an assumption that this main character is already kind of, is doing. And I think the readers are doing that too. So I think it's a healthy question to ask. But overall, I love this book.
Nice.
Comic Joe, the reason I like independent books is it's a good palate cleanser to my superhero books. But now my son has a $10 pull list each week, and that hurt my extra pocket cash to buy independents.
We are in for a load of trouble when our kids get into comics.
Shit. I mean, dude,
Like,
my kids are...
Ron is going to watch us walk in the store.
Yep. I mean, you only got one,
man.
dude. I've got two that...
know.
I mean, I already go into the comic book shop with my sons, and it's like... You know what I mean?
Gosh.
Because he's got that section of kid books that they go for.
Mhm.
And then when... Ron, I love you. I'm not trying to shit on you.
No,
But,
of course not.
you know, when you check out, he's got all the knickknacks and goodies and minifigures, and I'm like...
Yeah. I've taken Millie in a couple times, and she's gone.
Right. And so for me, it's like, all right, put it like, you know, my excuse, you know, previously was, all right, put it on your Christmas list. We'll see if it's in your stocking. And now I got to do, all right, put it on your birthday list. You know, like, shit's hard. Joe, I watch a lot of comic YouTubers, and so many of them just whine the whole time about today's comics. How will y'all protect yourselves from being a comic book grumps? That is an amazing question, and I do feel like we devolve sometimes into that. And I think what we do, and I'm not trying to brag, but I think what we do well is that we let y'all, our audience, our chat, get us. I don't want to say get us back on track, but we value y'all's opinion and if it even differs on what you like and don't like, we value that. We want to hear that. That's why we did this. You know, we started this one because we loved comics and we started getting into it, and then we saw all those channels that were grumpy and were literally only making videos because, oh, Captain America's gay now, meh, right? And we're like, what the fuck? Shut the hell up, you know. And so I think that's part of it is I really value having y'all as that bounce back to keep us grounded so that we don't, because I try really, you know, if there's one thing that, you know, the sword that I've been dying on recently but I haven't been talking about lately because he doesn't exist in the book right now, and that's John Romita's artwork. You know, like anytime that comes up, I'm like, get rid of it, you know, and I sound like a grumpus. So, you know, I value y'all as chat to kind of bring us back and say, hey, well, man, you know, may not be your cup of tea, and that's something that's always in the back of my mind when we do these live shows.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, I think I just reiterate the same, but I think part of what's going to probably keep us away from that pretty easily was what motivated us to start the show, was to just, I mean, one, we were like literally just doing this anyway, and we were like, I wonder if anyone would listen to our dumbasses talk about this. Like, we're doing it anyway, but like, honestly, it was because we've seen so many people be so grumpy about it that we were just like, that's not really what we're interested in. We're not interested in, you know, when you have a passion and when you have like a hobby that you enjoy, you kind of want to hear other people be enthusiastic about it. Like, I don't really need to watch, you know, it's just like right now, I'm super into Marvel Snap, and there are a lot of Marvel Snap streamers out there right now that are starting to really complain and talk shit about the game and really just feed into this negative culture. And I've just straight up unfollowed them and quit watching them. And just like, I love this game. I think it's a great time. I'm a grown adult that realizes that like video games are going to try to make money. I'm not just going to be like, yeah, you pay to win. This is bullshit. Like, I'll just not spend money and play the game and have fun. And so I just, you know, tend to steer away from that. But I also think one part of your question that's, you know, that I think is interesting, it says people just whine the whole time about today's comics. Well, that's where we started. We started reading comics in 2019. And so there's not, I mean, in like a general, that's when we started like our pull lists and really getting into it. And so like modern comics is what we are exposed to and used to, and kind of what made us fall in love with comics. Now, one of my favorite runs of all time is like Claremont's, you know, X-Men run from 76 to 91, like great run. But like, you're never going to hear me harking back to the Herald of the Old Days in any fashion even comics or otherwise.
Mhm.
So I certainly think that's a great question, but I also think about it. Seven has a great point. Don't be grumpy about comics because comics rule hard. I
Yeah,
agree.
no,
totally
and
agree.
that's Wednesdays are one of my favorite. Like, it's like my all-time like favorite day because
Mhm.
yeah, I get to go buy new books, read new things, see new things. I get to interact. I get to interact with the people at the shop: Lee, Mike, Ron, Hayden. I know Sarah. I know I'm missing some other people, but like, and then even patrons like Scott, who's at and Rich. When I get to the shop on Wednesdays now, Scott is the first guy there, and he's got all of his incentive and variant covers. He's getting the bad idea badge, and like last week, I pulled up and we walked in and he was already going down comics, the new comic book row, and he was like, "Yo, I literally just finished y'all's new comic book day video, like in the truck, so like I am well informed." And I was just like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like that's awesome, and just like seeing familiar faces at the store, and like what I would love to accomplish with this show is being able to meet every single one of y'all. Like my dream for this channel is to at some point for me and Nate both to like go to conventions and go to even the small ones that are like in Louisiana or Arkansas or even on the West Coast or East Coast, and being able to meet people and have fun and talk more about comics and meet other creators. Like I want our channel to be a positive force for modern and old comics, but I also care about them so much that yeah, I want to, there are maybe times where I get a bit grumpy, but I try not to stay in that lane as much as I can, because I understand that can negatively affect people that do watch the show, and I don't want us to be, the only time I ever want to trigger somebody is when the thumbnail pisses off a comic skater. That's where I want to, fuel the fire, right?
Yeah.
That's where I want it for me. But I love that question. That question was awesome.
Stefan, by the way, good luck on catching up on your books. No worries on. We'll look forward to you hanging out in the chats. Patty said, "What I love about comics is even the newer stuff isn't so much backlog of everything that you have to find. That it's so much. It's pretty awesome because there's just literally anything you could want is there, right? Like the backlog of comics for I don't know 70 years now. Like you're not going to be able to read everything. It's like trying to say you're going to.
Stefan, that's a goal I think for our show, is that we want to at some point in this journey be able to announce like, hey, we're going to this con and we want to meet up with every single person that can meet us there, and then just continue to jump, and go. Like that's I think when and I know we're kind of shifting into like channel goals for the channel, but I think once we get past 1,000 and we continue to build, and we're really like pushing this idea of just having fun, being kind to one another, and reading more comics, like that's really, like, I'm going to reiterate what Nate said before. That is what we really, that's what we started the show. We were watching so many YouTube channels that were so just bogged down and bitching about, well, this isn't my Venom, and this isn't this, or this isn't that. And I think there's a difference between, that stuff and like what I said about Lazarus Planet, where like I'm just frustrated with the direction because I want it to be lively and full and vibrant storytelling, and it just feels kind of mediocre and flat. And I feel like it's a disservice to the writers and artists that are working on it. But yeah, that's to me is the whole basis for this channel, was to be a positive force and an encouraging force for people to get into reading comics and getting into the culture, the nerd culture, or whatever you want to call it, of reading comics. Because like I remember when we first started this, even my wife was like, "Really, comics?" and I was sitting in bed, and I had my first trade, which was what was it? It was this. Cosmic Ghost Rider destroys the Marvel Universe. It was this, Darth Vader #1, and Thor #1 from Donny Cates. That's where this started for me.
Yep.
And, you know,
it all started for me with Star Wars comics. I only got into comics because I was reading Star Wars books and I wanted more. And everyone was saying, if you want more good Star Wars stories, go read Star Wars comics. And I picked up Star Wars Kylo Ren #1. It's the very first comic I ever bought. Besides the Coheed and Cambria comics I bought because I'm a fan of the band. I did buy them because of comics.
Yep.
Anyway.
Howard, an overly positive channel at just as annoying as a negative channel. Keep it honest. Yeah. No,
I would refer back to our Lazarus Planet. We keep it honest. Don't worry.
Yeah, and then Patty, I think if the guys got a bit bigger, everyone would enjoy a con appearance. Yeah, I'm ready, guys. I'm ready to we just got to get there, and we're in. I think for me, the balance of trying to still have it fun, which I am having fun, and balancing like getting content out to you guys because y'all rely on it and y'all enjoy it. You know, it's a place. I think Joe's. You know what I love about y'all's channel is the safe place with opinions. I know it's easier to get hate clicks and hate clubs, but building the channel on fun and honest is better in my opinion. I thank y'all for that. That's it. You know, like we really appreciate that, and that's what we're trying to build is Silly Goose Time, a valid place to have opinions, and for all of us to come together and just, oh, I didn't think of it that way, or oh, I did, and now I see why people, that's what I love. But no, your station #2, my pick of the week.
Nice.
One more thing, Patty. It's weird for me as a child, like in a local library, first comics I ever read was The Dark Knight Returns, and that's probably one I shouldn't have read so young, but it got me hooked. Yeah, we've all got that. I think we've all been there. All right, let's talk about Something's Killing Children, issue #28.
Boom with the sweep. Here's my pick of the week.
Yeah.
Because
That's
there it is.
Pick of the week.
We have had a build-up, quite a big build-up of Cutter finally reaching Erica in this small town, and it is all here, and everything is playing directly into her hands. And this woman is even crazier than we could have possibly thought that she was.
Is that the one with the mask that's on the cover? I still have that cover B that you never picked up. I need to give it to you.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I pretend it was a 1 in 50 or something like that.
Yes. So Cutter's here. We basically have, I can't remember. So there's Gabby, the girl that she's been with the whole time, Erica, and the other family member that is there. They all go to the police station because he has found the slaughter that happened in the previous issue at the pool. And they're basically like, well, we need to go and talk and clear our names and then we can get out of here. And Erica's like, yeah, that's not how it's gonna happen. Like, y'all need to run. And so and we haven't covered this book in a couple of issues, so I do want to reiterate one thing for anyone that's not reading the book but still kind of keeping up with it on a review. In the last book, Cutter, before she formally gets to the police station in last month's episode, we see her use a child to lure the monster out, lets the monster eat the child on purpose, and then captures the monster, knowing that when the monster gets afraid and captured, it will shapeshift into the thing that it fears most. Well, what is the thing that this monster fears most? Erica, because it's the only thing that's ever hurt it.
Oh shit.
And so now we have a monster roaming the streets that looks exactly like Erica.
Oh shit.
And Erica is now trapped in the police department where Cutter is, and Cutter has convinced the main police guy that Erica is the one killing the children.
Oh no.
And now there's a monster out there that looks like her out there killing children. And then she goes in there and what do you need?
Sorry.
Oh, I don't. It should be in there. And then she Cutter kills everyone in the police station except for our main the main guy who's in the interrogation room with her. Knocks him out and says, "Oh, what I'm going to do is let you escape because I know you're not going to allow this monster that looks like you out there to kill children. I'm going to go lock myself in another room and make it look like you broke out of here, murdered all the policemen, and locked me in a closet."
Shit.
And because she's like, she goes, "This is boring. I'm not done having." And literally the issue ends with this really, really great panel of Erica being overwhelmed and like slamming her on the table, screaming "fuck" because she's just like, "What do I do?"
Whoops.
Yeah, like you couldn't possibly have thought things could have gotten this bad for Erica, but they have. So this this book continues to be fantastic, but I think what's really interesting is that this particular arc, James Tinian said, "I'm not going to scare you with visuals. I'm going to scare you with the mind fucker." And it's been really good so far.
Those are always the best.
Yeah. So once again, for like, I don't know, the 15th time in its 28 issue run, this is my pick of the week.
That's saying something for sure.
Yeah.
Patty, anyone have a book they read as a kid and had to spend years tracking down with it because you only had caught one issue out of like 5? It was like possibly 3 issues.
I wish I had that kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember as a kid. I do remember as a kid, like having like looking and buying comics like when I was like, 9, 10, 11, like going to half price books and like just like going through, and that's insane. That's so crazy to me to think about that, like essentially like running past issues like probably the first appearance of Beta Ray Bill and be like, whatever, 25 cents, like it's crazy to me to think that was the kind of stuff that I was looking at. I will say I did have a Young Avengers issue number 1 in my room somewhere at my old house.
Oh, damn.
And like I moved out, my parents cleaned my room out, and I was like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's gone." I was like, "Shit." Like it existed, but I don't have anything like that specific. But yeah, Specs issue number 3. This one kind of like very, very subtly kind of got me a little bit, just barely back on track with it.
It brought a horror element.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. It brought a little bit of a horror element.
Yeah.
My biggest complaint of the first 2 issues continues to persist in issue 3. That is, we have 3 issues and maybe an issue and a half content at the most. Mm-hmm. We could have easily done what we've done so far in a much more concise way. And we're done in issue 4, so I'm.
Jeez.
I don't know. I think this maybe somehow a 4-issue mini was dragged out too far, or not enough is just happening. At least for me.
Yeah. I did like the horror aspect of the book, which is crazy for, me saying that, but that's what I expected out of this book.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I feel like the way this book is going to end is like, reality's a bitch. These glasses make it real, right? Because like, our main character in the second issue wished that his friend would disappear, like this would end. And then it ended up becoming a really shitty how it actually happened, literally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of foresee, I hope I'm wrong, but I foresee the issue 4, like it's all gonna end really bad in a realistic way, rather than what the covers suggest, right? Like I got the 1 in 10 incentive cover, and like it's really cool. It's the boys like on their bikes, but like in the background there are like zombie football players, and it's like really creepy. I want to see that, you know, like I want to see that, and we're not getting that. So the little supernatural horror element of the book was definitely like, oh, okay, this is neat. But the fact that I didn't even realize it ends in 4, that is very concerning.
Yeah, we've only had one more issue. Joe, this has nothing to do with They Live, which is, yes, that is the correct thing. The cover is an homage to that like the VHS cover of that movie, or like the poster. Chris Sheehan had said that was sort of the feeling of that 80s horror thriller supernatural was the inspiration for this story. And that was sort of an homage to it, but it doesn't actually have anything. The story.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Before we get into All Against All, I just want to give Chad a heads up in case if you want to talk about it and actually really want to know if anybody picked up and read this. At the end of the show, or at the end of the pool, I'm going to talk about Nemesis Reloaded because I did pick it up, and I want to know if anybody got it and what your thoughts are on it. So start thinking about that if you did pick it up and read it, because it's not in the main show because I picked it up late, but I would be interested to see what everybody else thought about it. All Against All is proving to be a very wicked and awesome, crazy sci-fi dystopian future book, and it continues in this. We get the origins of our human that was cultivated and grown by these aliens, and it's not turning out too well for the aliens. This human is fighting back, and it's not looking good for these jellyfish like. So like the picture here of the alien, they're like the aliens are in these like biosuits, and what they really are just like a head with 2 eyes with like tentacles, and so they like latch into these new biosuits, and so that's how they are roaming around and looking like. But we get a backstory about our human, and man, I'm not gonna have a voice tomorrow. And so we kind of find out why they like test tube grown, if you will, this human, and this human now is like ripping shit up and making a living hell for these aliens. And we don't quite know what the direction is. It seems like there's like a rogue faction of these aliens that have had these like little habitats built on Earth, and they're trying to cultivate things, but it's going horribly wrong, and it's being made known with this human. This book is super fun, and I'm interested to see the direction it goes because it's kind of fuzzy right now, but in a good way. The one thing outside of the writing that I will say is the artwork and the coloring in this book is phenomenal. I am thoroughly impressed with this book. So if you need something new and you want to jump into something that's still kind of in its infancy, check out All Against All. I'm really digging it right now.
I've officially added it to
there you
my
go.
list.
Nice. All right, let's get to this book. Black Cloak from Kelly Thompson. $4.99, 86 pages. How many pages? How many was it? 68? It was thick. It is a thick book. What'd you think?
Really didn't catch me too much.
Okay.
I just thought it was okay. I think there was, honestly, I read it at, I think 3 o'clock today, and I already have forgotten most of it. It just, nothing stood out to me really. Nothing really blew me away. But it is a Kelly Thompson book, and I almost wonder if either I wasn't in the right mind frame, maybe I need to pick it up again. I kind of want to hear what your thoughts were to see maybe if I missed something.
I think there are parts of this book that are very intriguing. More specifically, the family drama with the main character and why she's exiled from her family. And like what's the word? Responsibility that was put upon her prior to her exile, you know? Yeah. And clearly there's some gender, sexuality, interference in all of that, right? Because she clearly was like betrothed to someone, even though that's not the way she swings. So there's, that problem or that issue. I felt like the front end of the book was like trying to find its legs, and then we started like getting some kind of semblance of rhythm with the Black Cloak and her station and what, her being a detective. But it just felt, it did feel like at the beginning it was just like we were thrusted upon in this world, but it wasn't done in a fashion where you're like, oh, that's what the writer's trying to do. It was like, wait, what is the writer trying to do? And that's more of a tone thing. So like the back end of the book had me intrigued, and then the hook alone has me intrigued, but it doesn't feel like it fits the issue 1, right? Like what happens at the end, you're like, oh shit, what just happened? And then again, literally rephrasing what I just said, you could go about the entire issue, oh shit, what just happened? Like that's where I feel like this, like in our review clearly sounds very discombobulated. It's because the book is like it's very segmented without being officially segmented. So I don't know, like as of me talking about it right now, I don't know if I'm going to pick up issue 2. Like there are parts of it that I liked, but it just didn't feel like it was the same story. It felt like there were like different stories with the same character going on in the book.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean that's almost exactly how I feel. So issue 2 is going to be a game time decision.
Yeah,
it's not guaranteed.
No, there was a Peach Momoko variant for cover A that I almost picked up, so like that's cool. But and I'll say I was a little turned off by the artwork. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that. So sorry. Where are we at in the chat? Joe, I didn't want to ruin a good book in me reading it online. I love physical copies. Yep. So many comics I saw at the convenience store and thumbed through them, but never got to finish or buy. Didn't even remember most until I see a random $1 book in a box. Joe, they live in think the name of it was. Oh,
that's what we were talking about. I got that.
I'm sorry.
Good.
Joe, did y'all hear that Scarlet Witch book is only a 3-issue mini? That sucks. I don't fit the idea of Kevin Feige wanting more Scarlet Witch books. That sucks because that book is like issue 1 was strong, like really strong.
Interesting. I had no idea. Interesting.
Yeah, that's not. Orlando needs more. He's a really good writer, and the artwork's really good too. All right, let's talk about this last book really quick, and then we will wrap it up. And that is Nemesis Reloaded from Mark Miller and Jorge Jimenez. Did anybody else that's currently in chat read this book? I bought it kind of on a whim, and not on a whim. Another show that I watch had it as their pick of the week. And so I was like, I'll check it out. And the big reason why I picked this book up was for Jorge Jimenez. And my review of it is this book would be nothing if it weren't for Jorge Jimenez's artwork. It is absolutely stunning. It is phenomenal. It is crude. It's vicious. Sebastian, pick of the week for me. Loved it. 3 issues, such a weird number for a miniseries. Like 4 is most common. Got it. I genuinely like. I thought the book was fun. I love the artwork. The story to me is a little weird. We've got this like billionaire guy who is basically an anti-hero / bad guy, and in this reimagining a rebooting of Nemesis, he is out to get the establishment of cops in the city that is pumping in the money for police officers. So he's going after the city and after police officers in the book. I don't know. I just for me the artwork is what really carried it, and the story is, I'd say, a B- in my opinion. But I would love to know what everybody else says. So Sebastian loved it. It was his pick of the week. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna get an issue 2, but Jorge, I guess for me, what I'll be frustrated with is if this is the book that takes him away from Batman, I'll be kind of pissed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that would be frustrating for sure.
But it kind of feels like that, because at the back end of the book, you know, I think when the book got released, Mark Miller announced that there were going to be more books coming from them, the duo of them. So it's like,
Okay.
it says Mark Miller, Pepe Larraz, big game coming 2023. So like, shit's going down with Mark Miller, in this, with a lot of his concepts, and it looks like Pepe is going to be, or no, not Pepe Larraz. I'm sorry. Oh shit! I just confused the two. So Pepe Larraz is doing something with Mark Miller, and Jorge,
yes, that's been announced. Yeah,
and Jorge is doing the Nemesis thing. But still, I just hope it doesn't pull him away from Batman.
I hope not.
But Pepe for sure. All right, well that's gonna do it for issue 118 or episode 118 of Two Fat Guys Pull Us. Guys, what an amazing show! I really dug that little section there where we were just talking about the goals of the channel and the attitude of the channel. I really dig that, guys, and I can't express my gratitude and appreciation for every single one of y'all. It's been awesome, and I just want to continue to grow this community, grow this channel, and I think for me, and Nate, you can, you know, if you agree or disagree, but
okay,
for me, the goal outside of spreading positivity and kindness and reading more comics, the biggest goal for me and this channel is to make it a full-time thing, to just this be it, and just live and breathe Two Fat Guys Pull List. I think both me and Nate have talked about numerous times about having our own comic shop, and we still have ideas for that, but this channel being the thing that we do 24/7. And we can't do that without y'all. Y'all are the bedrock of that goal, and you're making it happen. So we appreciate every single one of y'all. Be on the lookout for a new Comic Book Day video this Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we may have Marvel solicitations for April.
Yes.
By the end of the week. So we'll have to look out for that. We could use some eye candy for this channel, though. Joe, we'll work on that. I mean, our beards,
I have
faces,
a mask I can wear or something like that.
like, I feel like, you know, we bring it pretty strong. Anyway, we will definitely catch you guys live next Sunday, God willing, as long as neither one of us gets sick. And I'm shooting through this sore throat. But yeah, love y'all guys. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you in the next one. As always, be kind to one another and read more comics. You guys are great, by the way. All of y'all rock.
We want to rock.
Later, Jaden.
Rock.
See you guys in the next one.
I'll send you some books you need to learn.